everybody, and welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Charli Matthews, and I'm excited to bring you one of our partners today. I love when I get to have my partners on the mic, first of all, and y'all to get to know them because I mean they're our partners because we like them, right? Like we get to work with them. And so today I have Joe. Joe, jump on here and introduce yourself to everyone.
Great. Thanks, Charlie. And hi, everybody. My name's Joe Mancini, and I'm the Director of Sales for North America at United Electric Controls. And if for those who may not be familiar with United Electric Controls, we're a company that makes pressure and temperature switches, sensors, transmitters, and we do so for lots of heavy industrial industry.
Absolutely. And you can go to their website, empoweringpumps.com, and find out all about that as well. And sure, we'll give you all the details to your website and everything in the show notes too. But Joe, how did you get into industry?
Yeah, like a lot of things, uh, I wasn't exactly aware of an industry like this. I was always in business world and marketing, and when I had moved up to Massachusetts and was looking for work, and United Electric Controls was near where I lived, looking for someone, it was one of those things where I jumped on the opportunity and was really amazed to know that such a world existed. A lot of us go through life just figuring things work,
Yeah.
and we don't know everything behind the scenes of, you know, how gas gets to our house or we all have an idea, of course, pipeline and all that, but you never really chase it all the way down the line and understand that. And so when I did start working at United Electric Controls, I found it really fascinating um, to be part of the industries that we serve.
Absolutely. I have always talked about this where, there's a water treatment plant on the way to my house, right? Like I drove by it so many different times and never saw it. Just like you never pay attention. And that's like how I get my water. So it's like
Yeah,
those kind of things show up all the time, right?
no, exactly. And interesting enough, now I go around looking for things that I normally wouldn't go around looking for. So, I'm in a Costco and I see pipes and I see controls, and it's a um, fire control system within, and our switches are supervisory switches on that system. Even going visiting my parents and taking the train from New Jersey into New York, and there's a United Electric Controls temperature switch on the wall, which is measuring the ambient temperature. And then I'm sure when it gets cool enough, it turns on the heating system within the waiting room. So all these little things that you just kind of like would just, exactly as you said, Charlie, just walk right past, not even think about it. And there it is, like right in front of you once you start to understand the world that we're in.
Yeah, and it gives you a sense of pride to work for the company, and I think that that is so wonderful to when we can really, like, dig down into what we do because it is, there's so many different products, so many different people behind the scenes doing this work, but when you really think about it, it's like your comfort, the things that you do every day would not exist without these people and their ability to do this work, so, definitely a lot of pride there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, Joe. Well, you started out in marketing, correct? Like
Yes.
went to school for marketing, business world, and all of that. What do you love about marketing? And I want to kind of there's two worlds to this because what we're in now is more of this technical marketing, and that's more of a challenge, I think, when you go into marketing and then you find this technical world. But let's just start with marketing and kind of what drew you into marketing.
Yeah, I think I had a class in college that was an introductory marketing course, and we got to the part about product management and then learning the 4 Ps. And I think at this point we're up to 6 Ps or more. Um, but I think that really blended a lot of the things that I like to do, advertising, the promotion, the marketing, the sales. And so I really went down that product management role. And I think the part that got to me was understanding that you really need to listen to the customers, and you really need to get it from them. We all have our ideas of, oh, this would sound great, and but you need to know what that message to the customer needs to be. And in order to know that, you really have to reach out and talk with them and understand the world that they live in and what they're looking for in order to make sure that you're getting the right message. So I think for me in marketing, it allows me to take some of my creative side, but combine it with what I'm getting back, the feedback I get back from the end users, to understand, hey, here's what we need. All that other stuff is great, but this is what we're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you've kind of went through that marketing world, learned the products there, and now you're into sales. And so we always kind of have this like sales versus marketing
Hmm.
mentality. And being in both, you can see that, right? Like I remember when I first started my own company, I had to create my own newsletter, and I would always like throw an ad at my team before that, like last minute. Why can't you get it in?
Yeah.
But, when I had to do it, I was like, "Oh, that can wait till, like, next time." Like, it's already done. So there's some elements of understanding the workload for each, right? And then, of course, marketing, being able to understand sales too. I'm just curious about your perspective on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And exactly. There's a lot of overlap. I mean, obviously, if one really wants to think about it, marketing kind of sets up the sale, with all the pre information that they're able to put out there and the sales tools to help sales sell, and then sales needs to close that sale. But in both situations, you still need to listen to that customer, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. Um, I always tell the sales team and even myself, and if you're not really saying the right things to that customer, and you're not, just move on. It's not, don't try to fit a round, you know peg into a square hole. There's no such thing as a square hole, but you
I'm
know
sure
what I
there
mean.
is. I'm
That's
sure
that
there is.
saying. There is that saying. So, but I think, in from the sales perspective, I think it's logical to move, marketing into sales, because you do have that perspective of, here's the things I need to do to set that up, and then here's the things I need to do to make sure that we can close that. So,
Yeah.
um,
There's that building relationship side, so getting to know the customer, actually listening to them when
y-
they talk, not just, "Okay, let me tell you more about myself." But there's also, like, working within your team too to understand that and pass that along. I think, our materials and everything sometimes have to change to get that message across. So, being able to work with the team and talk to them, your own staff, right? And kind of take that customer message and be able to explain it well, to the team. There's kind of a process to that too. Uh,
mhm.
and then let's add another layer. We're talking about technical things, right? I'm not an engineer, I'm not an operator. How in the world do I explain this in a way that to market this, right? How do I understand this enough to I can market it? How much deeper do you have to go to really understand it? Um, Curious. I mean, because
Yeah, exactly. Same background, Charlie. I'm not a engineer. Everything I've learned has been on the job. I've been with the company 30 years. And, from when I started and got into it, again, it was from the marketing side. Oh, but you keep learning and you keep talking with customers, and it starts to stick, and, you keep asking why. So when engineering gives you an answer to something, you say, well, why did you tell me that? What made you say that, for this pump application we needed to use this pressure switch, and then you start to build on that knowledge, and you you develop that understanding. And then with the help of your sales force and with the help of your customers, even your customers are, I find that in our industry, a lot of the people we work with are very eager to show you their job, what they do, share their knowledge, So that's really helped me a lot and been able to allow me to then bring that inside and make sure that we're producing materials the right, that they need. We do have degreed engineers as part of our team in our sales application engineering team, and of course, a full design engineering. So they'll review some of our things sometimes and just keep us honest.
That's right, that's right, and that's it, making sure that we continually learn, I think is a great point. I always say I know just enough to be dangerous, but I am really trying to learn the industry and, make sure that, you know, if something was just completely dead wrong that I would know, right? And hopefully somebody would tell me, right?
Yeah,
So having mentors around you, to help you and kind of inform you, there's ways around that, but I wanna know it, right? So, tell us a little bit about, United Controls. I know you mentioned it in the front end, right? But there's a lot of safety, temperature, critical, applications around what y'all are providing solutions for. So, do you have, like, an interesting, something that you can share with us to kind of tell us a little bit more about that?
sure. I think fundamentally, sure, we're providing instrumentation that provides safety, alarm, and emergency shutdown. But I like to think that we're giving people peace of mind. There's a lot going on in a lot of the process industries we serve, and a lot has to do with throughput, but a lot has to do with worker safety. Um, and so we have products that provide that peace of mind. Hopefully, whether it's a primary um, monitoring device or whether as a redundant. So we work well with people who say, "Oh, I'm using transmitters." That's fine. You want to have some redundancy built into your system for safety, that in case the transmitter fails, you do have that redundant backup. The same with a lot of SIL applications these days. So a lot of people getting into safety instrumented systems. You want to have 2 out of 3 voting logic. You don't want all 3 instruments to be the same instrument because it's going to have a common mode of failure. So, an electromechanical switch inserted in that 2 of 3 then becomes a redundant piece, but also will not have the same failure mode. So a lot of things that we try to do are work with the customers around their process needs and make sure that we can protect not only their people and the environment they work in, but also make sure that we're helping them with their throughput. Um, Obviously they have a product that they want to get out themselves, so we want to make sure that we're protecting, but we're also in helping out with their throughput as well.
Yeah, and it just, made me think of, if I learned anything in business and finance was to diversify and like have that redundancy, like you said, I'm like different categories of things, understanding how all that works, so that we're prepared and we can I of course want us all to be more safe and productive and efficient, as we move forward. But when I think about kind of where things are going, and there's so much connectivity, digitization,
Hmm.
tools. I mean, AI tools that recording us today. There's all kinds of things. But safety is right there, where we can't feel if we can't even tackle some of um, these kind of next level stuff like security at a plant, right? Like there's always a level of safety that needs to be there so we can innovate and grow, or even that psychological safety in order to lead well. And so there's a lot there. So I'm just curious, is there anything kind of on the horizon, anything that you see is coming that we need to be aware of, from your side?
Yeah. So we always try to innovate where we can. You know, we know what we can do well as a company, and the luckily there's a lot going in on our industry and a lot of additional companies that we can work well with, which is great because then the end user has a choice of using different technologies, and we don't look at it as competition necessarily. So, we work hand in hand. Some of the things we're looking at is improving upon our wireless gas detection line. And so we have a few things that we're working on there that will assist customers with faster deployment and being able to do so on a large scale. Um, so I really can't go into much depth about that, but
Coming soon.
um, yeah, but we are working on that. We are looking at expanding our electronic product offerings for alarm and emergency shutdown. Um, but again, the electromechanical switches, although old technology, they still have that life, like you had mentioned earlier, Charlie, about that those fundamental values that it delivers are still necessary. So, people are worried about security, specifically cybersecurity. So, you can't hack an electromechanical device. So it'll work as again, even if you're using transmitters as a redundant shutdown. So, um, we're always looking and trying to innovate where necessary, but we understand what we're good at and what we can deliver. So, as one of the leaders in the space for those types of devices, we
Yeah, and
we
I think that you
continue.
also mentioned, like, the collaboration with people. I think that's key. I think it is across the board, right? Where you see different companies working together, and we have to. I mean, we have to have different skill sets, learning the other side of the job. I love the mechanical versus electrical. Like, you need both of those today. Like, you need to better understand what's going on with the system, and so I love how that is, and I love how we can just focus on growth and how we can communicate better and for the greater good of everyone. Speaking of that, I have some kind of questions that I want to ask you about, little rapid fire questions.
Okay, sure.
What is your favorite book?
Oh, that's a good question. Huh. Probably something I haven't thought about in quite a while. I was a big Lord of the Rings
Okay, all right. What about
growing
music?
up, and so I've probably read it at least 4 times throughout.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Even with the videos and the movies and all that they made, you still kind of go back to the book?
Yeah, I mean, the video, the movies were great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed them. But yeah, there's just something about the writing and, being able to transport yourself with your own imagination.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
That is what it does. Especially if you read a book first and then watch a show, it's like, okay, that's not how I saw that going at all.
right.
Anyway, the what about music? You got any favorite tunes?
Oh, music. Um, I'm kind of all over the board. I'm an old heavy metal guy. I like a lot of the newer music today. Alternative type. So,
He's a jam. He
right.
jams out and does marketing, y'all. He just like puts on his headphones and hits the
Yeah, no,
spot.
it's yeah, it just depends. I mean, actually recently I just went to see Jane's Addiction at here in Boston, and yeah, things didn't end well for them, but
But it's still good. Oh,
it's still good. Yeah.
what about okay, I'm shifting gears a little bit on you. What about the best advice that you've ever received?
Um, I think the best advice that I've ever received was to get to know the employees around you. Um, And I'll never forget, one of my early managers told me that, just get to know the people for them being people. And it'll come when you need to ask them for things, it'll be much easier for you to do that. And so I made that a point of getting throughout the company, right out to the production floor, right out to shipping area, and just getting to know the people here. And it's definitely helped out because you get to meet some great people. You get a little insight into their lives outside of work. But then when you are in work, it's easy to collaborate. And you had mentioned earlier about collaboration. And I think no matter what you do in life, you need to be able to, you know, get along with people and be open to them, and just collaboration
Yeah, I think
becomes a lot easier.
yeah, you just have to care about people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, and if you do care and show that, then people will wanna work with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about okay, so for, like, um, let's set the scenario. I've kind of got 2 worlds here for you. So, if you're gonna talk to, somebody, a new person coming into industry, marketer, salesperson, what advice would you give them?
Um, Ask questions. Just keep asking questions. There are times when sometimes you might be really, really busy and you just need to get stuff done, and you just take an answer and you pass that answer along. Go back and ask later on, why did you tell me that? I can't stress that enough, because we all like to think we know our jobs inside and out, but there's something new happens every day, and I probably don't need to tell you that, Charlie. I mean, it just, things come up, and then you're just like, huh, never ran across that one before. But keep asking questions, just keep learning, and I guarantee, you'll grow, and you'll be able to expand your career, and go far if just keep asking questions, keep learning. Um, yeah, that would be it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I am going to give you the last word and just also let people know how to connect with you. But anything else you want to leave us with?
No, I enjoyed this discussion, and I appreciate Empowering Pumps and everything that being a partner with Empowering Pumps has brought us, and continue to reach out to a lot of the members. And yeah, United Electric Controls, we're at ueonline.com. If you'd like to reach me at all, it's J Mancini at ueonline.com. And yeah, appreciate it. And thanks so much.
I love it, Joe. Thank you. And for everyone else, like and share this episode. I know it'll be inspiring for somebody. And it is to me. Thank you, Joe. And thank you for listening. Y'all make sure that you tell me who you meet out there. I'd love to know, every cool person in the industry, which is probably you listening to this. And I haven't met you yet. So send me a message. And until next time, be empowering.